Another way to develop the skill of reading for pleasure is by using resources. It depends what type of a library resource do you have. If the teachers do not have a big library in the school, they can always develop a mobile library for their own classroom. It is quite easy to ask for books. Sometimes people who have the grown-up children, they need to dispose of the books that their children had when they were young. So that is a good way to ask them to just contribute to your classroom library and develop a mobile library for your class. The children should be encouraged to use these books as a library resource, either in the classroom or if there is a library in school. I noticed while I visited many countries that there were no libraries in the schools, and I thought that was a very important issue to be discussed, and that is why I have included this in this topic. Because the library resources, they can develop the reading habit in the students quite easily because they start enjoying the atmosphere of the library. Of course, the teacher needs to instruct what are the library rules, whether the students are using the school library or they are using the mobile library in the classroom or anywhere else. If the students are trained to use the library at a very small age, they tend to appreciate the atmosphere there because, number one, there has to be silence in the library. And most of the time, human nature is attracted by the silence and they start enjoying that atmosphere, which is very different from the classroom. Because the classroom has an active atmosphere and an active environment in the class. Whereas in the library, there is silence, there is more of independence, there is less of teacher interference. Only the teacher needs to supervise or guide the students in case they want some help with the selection of the books. But this way, the students, they feel more independent. There can also be a survey in your school which you can develop in order to find out how many of your students enjoy reading in the library. That can actually lead to a needs analysis of your students, and you would come to know that most of your students would enjoy reading in the library, whether it is in the school library or whether you turn your classroom into a library for one period of 30 minutes or probably 40 minutes, whatever. But what you can do is that you can just duplicate the library atmosphere, the library environment into your classroom, and then let your students enjoy the facility of using the resources. They should know that there are some extra resources to be taken help from in order to develop language skills and in order to learn, get knowledge. It should not always be the book-related knowledge that they depend on the book all the time. They need to learn that there are other resources which they need to consult, and this should be developed at a very young age. Basically, they would only develop the habit of reading some other resources if they are encouraged to do that at a very young age. And also, in the examination, it would be very much appreciated if the teachers give them a question to answer which is related to the outside resources other than the book. Then the students would be able to get some material from those resources and add it to their answer sheets when they are responding to that particular question. Now, when I say using library resources, it is not necessary that the students should be only using a school library or a classroom library. If there is a library around somewhere near their house or somewhere else in the town, they should be also encouraged to become members of that library. And the school can play a major part of it. The school heads can always become the members as school and then allow their students to use the library and get benefit from it.